Hello there, fellow CPAs. This is Salim Omar from CPA Marketing Genius. I'm bringing you another exciting episode. I have a guest. He's got a very, very interesting background. And I interviewed him for one of my other podcasts, and it was so exciting and so good that I brought him on for you guys to hear some of what his life experiences have been and some things that I think are going to really help you and impact you. So before we dive into the questions, very quickly, I'll share Manoj's background. By the way, Manoj, welcome.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here. Thanks.
So Manoj's background, he started as a factory worker who went from $2 a day to the boardrooms of Fortune 500 companies. Today he's an elite technology consultant and business mentor. He's played the game with the elite in the world. President Obama and Bill Gates have made special mention of an education technology that he delivered. Miami-Dade, the second largest college in USA, listed him among the leading experts in AI. He's recognized as one of the top 500 global thought leaders in AI and startups by BrainZ magazine. And the list goes on. And I know we have a short amount of time, so I'm going to dive right into the questions. Manoj, take us when in your career you went from the $2 a day, not $2 an hour, $2 a day, to playing with the top CEOs and being in the boardrooms of Fortune 500 companies. How did you do that?
Obviously that has been a very long journey, lots of ups and downs, but I will try to summarize it in a few steps. One is that, obviously, first I needed to discover what is the skill or value that I can create in the world that will make me worthy of playing with these leaders. A lot of what we experience in the world is all about self-worth, self-identity. And so in order to fill that gap of when you see somebody so high and you are down at the bottom, what can you do to increase your own self-worth? And for me, it was technology, software, computers, and using these skills to make impact on a lot of people. So I always strive to stay at the cutting edge. Keep learning. Life is almost a perpetual learning process. So as you learn, you improve. You look at how else you can make a bigger impact on more humans. So my technology projects are related to education. They're related to healthcare, where we can make direct impact on humans. So as you start to do these things, your own self-identity starts to evolve, self-worth start to evolve. And now you start to get in touch with these, super amazing humans who are already making impact on the world in their own rights. And so it's a process of, just self-discovery. And then the other thing is the mechanics of reaching out to these people, connecting with these people, offering them something of value to them, because as we idealize these overachievers, we always tend to think as humans, okay, what can I get from them? But if you adopt a approach of, okay, what can I add to their life, to their business, to their cause, then it starts to move much better, much faster, and you tend to get a lot of attention from these kind of people.
Wow, that's a great response there. So how does one bring more value? And we're talking to CPA firm owners. These are, we're talking to accountants, myself being one. We've got clients, business clients, personal tax clients. We're providing them with accounting services, meeting with them, at several points in the year, helping them with their business. How, from an outside perspective, what are some of the things we should see, Manoj, as a practice owner, of how do we bring more value to our clients?
See, the thing is that when we work with a professional like CPA, as a business owner, we are handing over we are working with a custodian of our finances, basically, right? We are handing over the keys to the kingdom to the CPA and saying, okay, help me manage my kingdom. And now, as CPAs, as with any other professional, we can start to see, okay, what is the actual goal that my client is trying to achieve? What value add I can provide other than just sort of advising them on the regular stuff, like the accounts and the taxation and whatnot. Who are they as a person, and what do they want to achieve by the end of their professional career? Or how can we help them achieve their goals? That is the fundamental sort of aspect that a lot of service providers miss, because they tend to contain their service to the extent that, okay, I'm being paid to do this much, I will deliver my service, and that's the end of my transaction. But if you look at this client and service provider relationship as a lifelong friendship of sorts, where you as a custodian of their wealth are sort of guiding them to the promised land, whatever that promised land is, whether that is purchasing a home for their family for vacations, or whether that is sending their kids to college, or whatever that is. If you really on day by day basis guide them towards that goal, that will create that lifelong bond, that will create more value for the client, and that will sort of make the CPA indispensable for the client.
Fantastic. Good. Wow, I can take this conversation in so many different ways with what you just shared. What are a few pieces of advice you would give to a business owner, a practice owner that is feeling overworked, overstressed?
See, stress comes from a few things. One is that stress comes from projecting our current fears into the future and saying, okay, what if this fear comes true? What if I make a mistake? What if I don't have any more clients? What if I run out of money? Stress always comes about imagining our current fears that will come true in the future, right? But if we start to look at history, our own history, individuals' history, when was the last time life let you down? You have reached this point in your life and you have made it so far. And yes, we have had close calls, all of us. We've gone from the top to the bottom and to the top again and whatnot. But life never lets us down. It's never that we will hit a brick wall. Even if we hit the brick wall, we should have the confidence that we will overcome that. It's just a challenge that will make us stronger. So when we start to approach life from that perspective, those stressful things start to dissipate. Now, practically speaking, what I find specifically with small business owners, they tend to take a lot of stress on their own because they think they are the best at what they do and nobody else can do the job as good as they can, right? So that is a misnomer, because that limits our growth, because a human being is limited by their capacity, their energy, their time. So the idea is to build systems in such a way that you can delegate your responsibilities to your team members and basically offload your stress so that you can become a choreographer of your business, not the CEO, the janitor, the account executive, the salesperson, all that combined into one. That is not the definition of a business owner. The business owner should be the CEO orchestrating all these systems in their business so that they can sort of oversee and make sure everything is working smoothly. Now the role changes from the entrepreneur to CEO in that they can just come in whenever their input is needed. Whenever there is an issue that was unexpected, they can come and fix it. If we do it this way, then stress level goes down. And then, of course, this new technology, AI is coming along. Adopting that will also give you a lot of benefits, because one of the most stressful things for small business owners is to manage people, right? Not in the sense that AI is going to replace people, but it will make it easier for people to do their job, and it will make it easier for the CEOs to manage their teams, delegate the tasks, keep track of everything. So all of these things combined is basically going to reduce stress drastically.
One thing that comes to mind, Manoj, as you share this insights is, something that I learned or came across some 25, 30 years back, and it's a concept of Kaizen, Japanese term,
Yes,
which
yes.
is constant and never-ending improvement, right? And it's really the small things when done every day that can make that big difference. The 1% every day really accumulates over 3 months, over 6 months, or over a year. And so I think it's really a mindset thing, that I'm not looking for like breakthroughs. Like, I'm not looking for this huge thing that's going to cut my time or my stress into half. I'm just looking for like one small thing. And then tomorrow I'm looking for one small thing. And so it's really, mindset, I don't know. As I talk to you now and I reflect on this, mindset plays such a big role
Absolutely.
in creating success and, getting us to where we want. And while we do that, enjoying the journey.
Yes, exactly. I think everything is mind. If you consider the biggest monuments in the world or the biggest success stories in the world, everything starts in the mind first. Everything. So it was a thought that now manifests in reality. And so this concept of Kaizen is absolutely brilliant, because we see that compound interest being in the financial domain is the best thing in the universe. And so people fail to realize, they always say, oh, what is the next best investment where I can get massive returns. And they forget that the best investment is in themselves. So if they start to invest a little bit every day in themselves, that is the best ever investment, because the compound interest on that is exponential.
What are some of the things that you have found useful for yourself? I mean, you've been in the profession for a good number of years. How have you kept that excitement, that energy, the always going to grow and achieve for yourself? What are some of the things you do daily or weekly or monthly that gives you that energy to continue doing what you're doing?
See, I'll start with daily. One thing I have always recommended to people is meditation. So if you don't have meditation practice, I highly, highly recommend that, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is, because that will really help you see the world with much more clarity. You will be able to take in much more information and process much more information that generally we don't get to process or see. The second thing is, always tie your motives or your ambitions to a specific outcome, your why. Why are you doing all this? What is the end goal here? And my recommendation is, try to tie that why not only to wealth or success, but what is the impact you are trying to create? And generally, that impact tends to be for other humans. We humans tend to do more for others than we can do for ourselves. If we have $100, I will generally try to spend it on my kids rather than spending on me, right? So when you say, okay, my objective in life is to help, my objective personal mission in life is to help 20 people win the Nobel Prize. So that is the vision that drives me. And now for that long-term vision, I say, okay, what do I need to do this year, in the next 6 months, in the next 3 months, in this month, to be able to achieve that long-term vision eventually? So if that North Star is driving you, you have a very specific goal, then things start to fall in place. You don't even have to do a lot of how can I say it? You don't even have to push yourself that much, because that goal is driving you. But if it's only like, okay, I want to be successful, I want to make $1 million, that is not a very exciting goal that drives you. So that takes a lot of work and energy. But if you say, okay, my goal is to help all my family members and my grandchildren and my great grandchildren to go to a Ivy League school, and I will do everything in my power to achieve that goal. Now that is something very, very meaningful, that is tied to your legacy. So your name is not only going to live while you are alive, but beyond that. And now that is a powerful motive that will pull you automatically. Make sense?
This is so relevant, Manoj, what you shared from in my own personal life. I'm getting we're in the early stages of launching a new venture for myself, and it's going to make us about $500,000, $1 million, right? So there is lots of money, but I'm not getting excited by that, because now in my mind, I'm like, okay, what can I do with this money? And I've identified a charitable organization that I want to really support in a big way. And that's exciting me more than the money itself.
Exactly.
And that's pretty crazy that, I get up in the morning, I'm like, okay, how, let's make this money that, that's just going to come from, this new venture. And now we can, do something meaningful with it. So it's so true that really finding the why, as you say, right? Because it can get lost.
Absolutely.
It can get lost, and we have to kind of come back to it.
I recommend people put it somewhere in the front of their monitor, in their mirror, so that they are reminded of it all the time. I literally sometimes record my voice and listen to it every day, so that, I'm always reminded, okay, this is where I'm going.
And I think we, as human beings, we underestimate how much that is needed, how much we need to do the self-care thing. And however that comes in with meditation, with reading, with taking walks, whatever it is, right? However we get that juice, we need to do it regularly.
Absolutely. I think, as we touched upon earlier, everything is in mind, everything is belief. Self-belief is very important, because even if you have good support system, what you can see, nobody else can see as an entrepreneur. So that self-belief and self-reinforcement is very, very essential.
Good. Wow, this has been so good. We've got a few more minutes. Manoj, what have we not touched that you feel we should go into and talk about? What's top of mind for you? What are some of the things you're thinking about that you're like, man, we got to talk about that?
Well, we should definitely talk about AI, specifically in the accounting domain. I think accounting and CPA firms are going to be disrupted quite a bit by AI. So my advice to people is to get ahead of the technology curve, not ignore it, because this is such a big technological wave that is coming, and also huge wealth making opportunity. So AI is said to the CEO of IBM has said that AI is going to add $10 trillion to the world GDP by 2030. Okay, so that is more than 10% of the current world GDP. There has
2030, 7 years.
7 years.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, the world has never generated so much wealth in such a short period of time. Okay, and the corollary to that is that if people don't adopt AI today, they will be playing catch up, and most likely, if they still are stubborn, in 5 years they will be out of business. So my advice to everybody listening is, understand what AI can do for you. Start to take baby steps in incorporating it into your business. Like the other day, I'm actually talking to another group of CFOs tomorrow. And for them, what we are doing is we are creating sort of a demo where we put all the CPA laws, regulations, the proprietary information of CPA firms, their way of working, and put ChatGPT on top of it, so that now even a new employee can have an expert in all the intricacies of a CPA firm and become an expert CPA helping the clients and whatnot. So imagine if you have a team of 10 people in your company and each one of them increases their productivity by 200% by next month, in the next 30 days. What will that do for your company? And how competitive you will become as compared to the next competitor in your industry, in your locality, right? So that is the game that we are supposed to play now. And if people don't play that game, the competitor will become 200, 300% more productive. So that is the message I want to just share with people, that it's in their best interest to look into this and start using it.
Yeah. Are you seeing businesses kind of being more, I mean, ChatGPT has become a household name overnight for many of us, probably not for you. Maybe you saw that coming for a couple of years, but for many folks, it's like become a household name. It's one of those things that definitely comes up in a party, in a party conversation. Where are you seeing small businesses adopt to it, and now they're more open to it, and really now seeing, all right, how can I use it in my business? Like what are you seeing as a trend in the small business arena?
The interesting thing is right now, the human population is divided into is like a pyramid shape. So I will recommend people read up on a theory called diffusion of innovation. Okay. So diffusion of innovation has been around since the 60s, and it is basically studying human reaction to new technology changes. Okay. So what happens is that 2.5% of the human population, we are called innovators. Okay. So we are the risk takers who always want to stay at the cutting edge of technology. So when the new iPhone comes out, we line up around the block to buy the new iPhone. When the new Tesla is out, we want to buy it, provided we have the means to do that. So 2.5% of the small business owners are going to be attracted to AI right now. That is just human nature. We cannot escape that. The only decision the listeners and the audience has to make, whether they are in that 2.5% or they are in the rest of the 97.5%. The 2.5% of the innovators, they always are the front of the pack, and they always take major advantage of any technology changes that are coming. So when at the turn of 1990s, when the internet came along, there were a handful of people who created their own websites, launched new ventures, and many of them became billionaires, right? But after that, there were many other people launched it, but they were obviously successful, not as successful as the early adopters.
The early adopters, they get the benefit. They're in front of the pack.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Bill Gates became the richest person on the planet within 20 years of launching Microsoft, right? Jeff Bezos launched Amazon in 1997. He overtook Walmart as the biggest retailer within 20 years. Walmart has been around for more than 100 years. So you can just look at history and see how the patterns evolve, right?
Right. And for the CPA firm owner that's watching this, listening to this, they don't have to create the technology that is AI driven and so forth, but they've got to be open, in my mind, to finding what's out there, what's being created, and seeing how they can bring it to their accounting firm, right?
Absolutely. See, technology is never meant to be like understood deeply. Like we all drive cars, and I don't know how my car really works. Like where does the gas, what happens? And of course I know conceptually, but if something happens to the car, I don't know how to fix it. I take it to the mechanic, but I do use the car on daily basis. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with any other technology, right?
Right. Makes sense. Manoj, this was so good. Really appreciate you. What's the best place? What's the best way for somebody to connect with you?
Yeah. So one thing we are offering is free AI readiness quiz. So get in touch with me on LinkedIn. Let me know what you're trying to do. Basically, we are helping people to assess how ready they are for AI. So we can share that with you. Just connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to share that with you.
Sure. And what's the way? How can somebody, if you can just quickly say, and we'll just kind of say it out.
Just
So
search for
it's
my name, Google my name, Manoj Agarwal, or you find me on LinkedIn, MANUJAGGARWAL. Look me up. It's not a usual name, so you should not have any problem looking for a brown, bald guy who's enthusiastic about AI. So
super. Great. Manoj, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, man.
thank you so much. Thank you.